In a small town nestled between rolling hills and sprawling fields, two neighbors lived side by side, each embodying a distinct approach to life. On one side was Thomas, a man who wore responsibility like a badge of honor. He had a knack for turning mistakes into lessons, viewing each setback as an opportunity for growth. On the other side was Derek, a man who seemed to dance through life, deftly sidestepping accountability at every turn. To him, the world was a stage where others played the villains in his story, always to blame for his misfortunes. One crisp autumn day, a storm swept through the town, causing a tree to crash onto Thomas's car. As he surveyed the damage, he felt a twinge of frustration. But instead of cursing the storm or blaming the town for not trimming the trees, he took a deep breath and considered how he could prevent such a mishap in the future. He decided to install a carport to protect his vehicle from future storms. In his mind, this was not merely about the car. It was about taking control of his circumstances and making proactive choices. That evening, he sat down with his family and discussed the importance of preparation and resilience, turning the incident into a teaching moment. Meanwhile, across the fence, Derek was facing a similar situation. His car, too, had been damaged by the same fallen tree. But instead of reflecting on the event, he was on the phone with anyone who would listen, venting his frustrations. "Can you believe this? The town should have done something about that tree. It's their fault my car is ruined." His friends nodded sympathetically, reinforcing his belief that he was a victim of circumstance. In his mind, he was justified in feeling wronged, and he took solace in the camaraderie of shared grievances. Yet, as the days passed, Derek found himself feeling increasingly bitter, replaying the incident in his mind, convinced that the world was conspiring against him. As weeks turned into months, the contrasting mindsets of the two men began to reveal their deeper implications. Thomas, having taken responsibility for his actions, found himself growing in confidence. His proactive approach led him to explore new hobbies, engage more deeply with his community, and even take on leadership roles at work. His relationships flourished. Friends and family admired his ability to learn and adapt, and they were drawn to his positivity. Each challenge became a stepping stone, and he inspired others to view their own struggles through a similar lens. In stark contrast, Derek's life began to spiral. His tendency to deflect blame created a barrier between him and those around him. Friends grew weary of his constant complaints, and his relationships became strained. He missed out on opportunities because he was too focused on external factors rather than taking charge of his own life. When he lost a job due to poor performance, he lamented about the unfairness of it all, convinced that his boss had it out for him rather than acknowledging his own shortcomings. Each time he deflected responsibility, he built walls around himself, isolating him further from the support he so desperately needed. As time passed, the town itself began to change in subtle ways. Thomas's influence spread, inspiring a culture of accountability and growth among his peers. Workshops on personal development emerged, and community projects flourished. People began to share their stories of overcoming adversity, and the town became a beacon of resilience. Meanwhile, Derek remained stuck in his cycle of blame, unable to see the growth that lay just beyond his self-imposed barriers. In their contrasting journeys, Thomas and Derek embodied the essence of Don Shula's wisdom. The superior man, through self-reflection and accountability, paved a path of growth and connection, while the inferior man, ensnared by blame, found himself trapped in a cycle of resentment and isolation. Their lives illustrated a fundamental truth: that the choice to take responsibility not only shapes our own destinies, but also profoundly impacts our relationships and the communities we inhabit.